go-to for WBOK.
I'm an
Rep-
alum. I like that. Alum.
and the go-to.
That's right. That's right.
I've got,
I'm back. I'm
I've
back.
got Reverend Torrin Sanders.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, WBOK family. It's good to see you all, so to speak.
Yeah,
First time in a long time.
As Charlotte used to say on CBS Radio, I'll see you on the radio.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
But
right.
just in case anybody's wondering, Chief's okay. Chief Eddie Campos is okay. He's doing fine. Saw him this weekend. But, you know, when you're working men and women and duty calls in different directions.
Hey, duty still calls.
Then,
the chief has the
you might
answer.
have to go in a different direction, especially if there's a particular type of duty that maybe might give you a few more bucks.
Yes. Yes. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Got to take care of home and family. Well, it's been quite a wonderful weekend. We got a lot going on this week.
I need to interrupt
It's
you,
like,
though. I need to interrupt you
it's
because
like,
you had a
man.
great weekend.
Oh, well,
And let me
yeah.
ring the bell.
yeah.
What's that? The Legacy Award?
Yes,
from
I got the Legacy
Black
Award
journalists.
from the New Orleans Association of Black Journalists.
Congratulations.
Well,
a
thank
living
you.
legend.
Yeah. Well, the word is legacy.
Legacy,
It's
dog.
not legend.
I put legend in it.
But, you know, I mean, I guess it does mean I'm getting older.
No, you have done what you have done for many years with excellence, and it was overdue, I'm sure, for this acknowledgement and recognition. But and now you're becoming the master of two mediums.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The New Orleans Association of Black Journalists had its scholarship jazz brunch on Saturday at the Cannery, 11 o'clock, and it was a sold-out event.
Okay.
So we had journalism and media and communications people that you would recognize, and then we had a number of people there who you might not recognize, but they're important people behind the scenes
Yes.
who make news happen and make programming happen. And they also the ones who sign the paychecks.
That's right. That's right. That's
so
right.
there were news directors there, general managers there. Energy was the signature sponsor of the event. They had a whole table load of people. And, you know, sometimes with sponsors, you appreciate the support.
Yes.
And you might have somebody say a few words, and then they're on to the rest of their day.
That's right.
They stayed.
That's right. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I guess they were having a good time.
They stayed.
Yeah,
They stayed.
yeah.
So the mocktails and other drinks were flowing before the event, and it was waffles and fish and shrimp and
I guess
grits,
that goes together.
shrimp
waffles. I think
shrimp-
they'll say chicken waffles.
Chicken and
Oh, yeah,
waffles.
okay,
I'm sorry.
gotcha. All
Chicken
right.
and waffles.
Okay.
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits. That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
buddy. I
That
didn't
makes
need
sense.
to eat all that. So
Yes.
you know, I managed not to eat the waffle.
I hear you.
And
you
most,
cut the carbs.
most of the grits.
Yeah, you cut the
You know, I
carbs.
got to work
But
on.
yeah, but
I got to
congratulations.
work on having people see less of me. This year, I got to knock down
Yes.
some of these pounds I picked up by going to a number of these events. But I want to thank my my WBOK family for
All right.
coming out.
Yes.
Troy Henry and Jeff Thomas were there and in support and encouragement, and I think they had a good time. Really appreciate having them out for that event. And I had my my St. Aug family was out there.
All right.
So we had some students from 2600, and we had alums from various decades who were out. Had some of my Omega frat brothers.
Oh, you had
were out.
everybody out there. All right.
They were out there too. And I had my Times Picayune, NOLA.com family
Yes.
out. And, you know, we got a new face over at NOLA.com,
Okay.
Damon Singleton.
Yes, that's right.
So Damon
that's right.
Singleton was there for the first time as a Times Picayune,
Yes.
NOLA.com employee. And my other colleagues who I see in the newsroom, and it was wonderful to see them, you know, and, you know, they're other than Damon, they're young folks who, you know, doing good things, and I really appreciate seeing them in the audience and having them see me in that atmosphere.
Well, congratulations. I know for one, I enjoy, and hopefully we'll talk today about your recent columns, but they're always on point and timely and thought provoking. So,
Yeah.
so I know we'll probably talk about one or two of them, your most recent ones, because
Yeah, and my
they're
blood.
timely for this election.
Yeah, they are indeed. And
Yeah.
my blood family was out too. So
Okay.
Dr. Cheryl Sutton Smith, juvenile court judge Clint Smith,
Okay.
my nephew Clint Smith, the author and writer,
Mm-hmm.
and my beautiful bride Cheryl Franey Sutton, who has put up with all this for 45 years
Woo!
plus. So
45.
it was wonderful to have them out, and Ms. Prevost even came out
All right.
for me, sat at our
Yes.
table.
Okay.
That was nice, and so it was really good. It was a good time, and one of the nice things was the chapter gave away 4 scholarships to young
Excellent.
people.
Excellent.
So that was really good.
That's what it's all about.
So thank you all for those who came out and supported, and thank you all who offered congratulations by email and text and phone calls. I appreciate it, but doesn't mean I'm stopping.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Keep going. The legacy is continuing.
I am not stopping.
Yeah.
I am continuing on,
That's right.
and we're going to do what we need to do here at
Yeah.
WBOK and at
Well, I thought about being a newsman when I was
I
in
remember
college.
that when you were at Howard, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
you
right.
work at the student newspaper?
Yeah, I was an editorial columnist. I did a little bit of what you
Alrighty
did.
now.
Yeah, and I was a little more radical back in those days. And so my mother used to say, "Oh, you got to stop writing all of that." And I was like, "Why?" I was writing about anti-apartheid and Bush was in office, I think, during that time, and so I'm sorry, Reagan, and I guess the first Bush, yeah, and so but I enjoyed it. But I thought about even going to what was it, Columbia School of Journalism, but I decided to come down here and go into social work, and so I'm glad I did. But I still love to write, and of course I do write in my other capacity. I write every Sunday in order to preach.
Well, that's
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and that's no small task.
That's no small task. That's
because
right.
I mean, well, you've been around for a while, especially in the pastoral and
Yes.
ministry business that you've been to a few churches,
Yeah.
and sure it makes a difference when you're sitting there and you're like, "What's this guy talking about?" he thought about this 10 minutes before he got up to the pulpit.
I didn't
and
get a
you can
topic
tell
sentence.
the difference.
Yes.
You can tell the difference.
Yes, yes,
Yep. So preparation is key.
That's right.
And I used that example in my far too long acceptance remarks Saturday. I apologize for those who were there. It was, I just was so full.
It was your time. It was your time.
I was so full. I just went on a little too long.
A little too long.
So,
That's okay.
but one of the things I noted was that when you see all these prize-winning journalists and the awards that they have,
Mhm.
that's the best of their work. What you don't see is all the scratch outs and
That's
throwing
right.
in this and
That's right.
tearing up this and the 4 times as much copy that they created that
Yes, that's
ended
right.
up in the final result that you, in our case, might see or hear, and in your case, people hear from the pulpit.
That's right.
You know,
That's
'cause
right.
there's other stuff you go through.
That's right. When I was in philosophy and an English major in college, and one of my professors, who actually was a friend of Langston Hughes. I think it was Theodore Hudson, and they.
I'm
he would
sorry.
always say-
Were you a friend of?
No, not me. One of my professors
Okay.
was a friend of Langston Hughes, but I think it was Dr. Theodore Hudson, and I remember him well. But he said, your first draft we consider vomit.
There you go.
I know that's
I
not
like
that's
that.
on the radio, but it was like,
I like
and we were
that.
like, what? He was like, that's just stuff that came up. He said, now we need to clean it up. He said, and I was like, wow, and so many people, even today, they still think, if they're writing something, whatever comes out first, that's it. It's like, no, you just
Nope.
getting started.
Nope.
You just getting started.
Absolutely.
Now you
not.
got to go deep.
Launch
out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that work, and I'm sure that's true in other fields like accounting and
Mhm.
insurance. I just don't know the particulars
That's right.
of what
That's
that
right. Yeah.
might be. But you're listening to the Good Morning Show on WBLK 1230 AM. The talk line is 504-582-9422. There was quite a weekend of activities. Did you hear about anybody who went out to the National Fried Chicken Festival?
Oh boy, and I hadn't talked to anybody who was there. I know, yesterday in the morning, of course, we had that rain, but I assumed that that didn't affect the the attendance too
No, they
much.
sent out something on Saturday afternoon saying rain or
Shine.
shine. Rain or shine. We're going to
do
hit.
it. I
And
went last year. I didn't make it this year, but
Yep,
I'm sure
yep,
it was
yep.
a place to
Well,
be.
I went over there, and it was packed. A whole lot of people were out and about, and it looked like folks had a really good time. You know, sometimes these days you can look online and see social media posts.
Yes, and
kind
see
of
what's
figure
going
out what
on.
might have been going on.
That's right. That's
And
right.
looks like things went
But that is a great event.
very, very well.
Yeah, I think they found the right spot in the city to do it. They moved around a little bit, but that's the right spot. And those who created Cleveland Spears and others, are just doing a great job with that. And of course, there was a big football weekend. The car in St. Augustine.
There was a really big game. Really big games over on the West Bank. Do we really have to talk about that?
No, hey. Well, congratulations to both teams and bands.
Yes,
because that was really the show. But before the show, before the game, during the game, and after the game, the fifth quarter, I'm told, was something else.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I had a number of friends out there, and I tell you, before the game, and I was looking at some of the social media, and it was like, all of these people in line. It's like if you didn't go 2 hours ahead of time, you were going to miss the kickoff.
Yes.
Apparently it was a really explosive game, really good game, depending on which team you're rooting for.
Yeah.
But explosive because Carr's quarterback, John Johnson, had not one, not two, not three, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. No, he's
5 touchdowns, and so the Cougars beat my alma mater, St. Aug, 42-21.
Yeah, well, and I got to give a shout out to one of my church members, my great church members. He's a senior this year, number 8, Trey, who's the great running back for Carr.
All right.
And Trey Garrison and his father, Anthony Garrison, go for it. They are doing great work with him, and he's a great young man.
Yeah, that's great.
And I got Makai, who's in the band, who's one of my church members, and Janique, who's one of the cheerleaders. I got a whole bunch of Carr folk, as well as some St. Aug folk. Khalil.
Yeah.
My oldest son is a Purple Knight. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have a game where the quarterback completes 26 out of 35 passes and throws for 342 yards with only 1 interception.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
That's right. Maybe he should go directly to the Saints, even though they won yesterday. But
how about them Saints? We got a win.
We got a win.
Yeah, I decided to wear my shirt today.
Is today a holiday in the city?
I don't know.
Nobody has to go to work, right?
I tell you,
we finally won one. So
I was talking to people going into the weekend about, is this our weekend? Is this our weekend? And people are like, I don't know. I said, but it's the Giants. They're so bad. Can't we beat them? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Well, we pulled it off.
Yeah.
Well, we got a caller. Good morning, Pop Jones. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, good morning. Well, look like you've been enjoying yourself. and good morning, Ralph. I haven't heard from you for a minute.
Yes, good morning to you, Pop.
I know you stay busy though.
Oh yes. But it's good to stop by here this morning.
Yeah, it's good hearing from your voice.
What you got?
So much going on. Saints won one, huh?
Yeah. Hopefully the first of a winning streak.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be nice.
That's my prayer. I'm gonna start praying for that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't looking too good.
Yeah, you're right. They started out a little slow, but they got there.
Well, I'm gonna follow the great late John Lewis. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, Ralph.
Oh, buddy.
But if you see something, say something.
What you got?
And I see what the National Guards are doing all over the country. They're sending them all over the country. And the only voice I hear is the retired General Honoré that speaks out against this. And last I heard, did not really seem like they only use to protect ISIS, because ISIS beating up people and stuff, arresting people. And I was in the Chicago area recently, and they really was doing a thing, because it seemed like Washington is mad with the governor and the mayor of Chicago, because he don't want the troops. But last, I would like y'all's opinion on this one, to say that the National Guard is coming here to New Orleans, and the chief of police asks her, do she have any control? So they can come in and do what they want, huh?
Well, the chief of police was on WBOK a couple of weeks ago, and we talked with her about the National Guard issue right here on the Good Morning Show. And at that point, in conversation with the chief, she said nobody had been in touch with her to talk about the possibility of the National Guard coming in. Nobody from the White House or other federal government, Homeland Security or FBI or anybody, and nobody from Governor Landry's office or state police. Nobody had talked with her about anything related to the National Guard. But they must have listened to WBOK or read my column about that, because the governor sent out a note saying that he was requesting 1,000 National Guard troops for the state of Louisiana, and rather than do what has been done in so many other places, has been democratically run cities. He mentioned Shreveport and Baton Rouge, which have been Democratic-led for quite a while, but they have Republican mayors these days. Well, just a few days ago, the law enforcement folks did meet with Chief Ann Kirkpatrick about what they have planned for New Orleans in particular, and Louisiana generally. So we don't know the results of that meeting, but at least they're including her now. How can you have something like this planned and not include the police chief of the major city in the state? So
but
that's
all
what we
I
do
hear,
know.
is everywhere they want to send the troops, the mayors and governors are objecting to it. They say they don't want them and don't need them, but they're gonna send them anyway. So what does this seem like to you? What's going on with that?
Well, there's more of a focus on states where there are Republican governors rather than Democratic governors, with the idea that they can get more cooperation, whether a Democratic mayor or somebody else who's a mayor wants to see it or not. But most recently, just in the last couple of days, matter of fact, at the end of the week, when the president and HEDSEC met with hundreds of generals from around the world for a one-day unplanned, unexpected meeting, he mentioned the possibility of training troops, not the National Guard, but training troops in Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we got to go to break. This is all a big show. I don't know why the governor needed to write the president. I thought the governor was in charge of the National Guard.
That's correct.
So that should tell you everything you need to know about that.
Yep. Well, we're gonna go to break, Pop, and you're listening to the Good Morning Show on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. New Orleans police are investigating a shooting on Francis Drive that injured a man. Investigators say he was shot in the leg around 6:30 last night and taken to a local hospital. Right now, there is no word on his condition or if a suspect has been identified. If you know anything about this case, call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111. Then we have learned a crash on the Causeway on Friday was fatal. According to Causeway Police, a 60-year-old man in the passenger seat of an SUV that was rear-ended has died. Investigators say his heart stopped during the collision. We're told CPR was given on the bridge and that man was taken to a hospital where he later died. And finally, some good news. Victory at last. The Saints are waking up winners, securing their first win of the season yesterday afternoon against the New York Giants. The Black and Gold dominated the second half inside the Dome, ending the game with 5 takeaways. Sunday's final 26-14. Next up for the Saints, they host the New England Patriots at home. They will then travel to Chicago to play the Bears and then return home to play their NFC South foe, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. New York Knicks All-Star forward Karl Anthony Towns is getting ready for another big season in the Big Apple. But off the court, Towns has his eyes on business and plans to invest in teams once his playing days are over. He stopped by Bloomberg World headquarters for the annual Power Players event and said that even though he's a basketball player, he's really interested in another sport's growth.
I know because I play basketball, we jump to the NBA franchises, but I think there's more opportunities out there in other sports as well, and I think one of the ones that I'm very intrigued in is MLS. I think MLS has a large growing factor, and with soccer already so big around the world and outside of America and only growing here now thanks to, Messi and some other big names coming over, I think that there's a chance to get in early right now into the MLS game.
It sounds like at least one prominent Knicks player will be ready for the FIFA World Cup when it comes to the U.S. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Hey, this is D. Riley from the 90s Hits R&B Jams. Make sure you listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday night from 7 until 9 p.m. I'll be giving you the best R&B jams from the 90s. That's right, all your favorites and more. With me, D. Riley, your host of the 90s Hits, right here on WBOK 1230 AM, or listen online at WBOK1230.com. WBOK, the station you listen to longer.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
New Orleans is an easy city to love. It shouldn't be a hard place to live. I'm Matthew Willard, born and raised in Gentilly, proud to carry on my family's tradition of public service. In less than 6 years, I passed 36 bills that made a difference. Now I'm running for City Council at Large Division 1 so we can keep living in the city we love. Safe, affordable, and one that gets the job done. New Orleans, let's make it happen. Paid for by the Matthew Willard Campaign.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 AM. The talk line is 504-582-9422. I am Will Sutton, and with me today is Reverend Dr. Torrin Sanders.
Hello, hello.
And I'm going to add that additional title that you earned, I didn't forget. Full professor.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Dr.
sir. Yes,
Torrin
sir. Say that 3 more
Sanders.
times. Say that 3 more times.
Congratulations.
People say professor.
Made my
rather
mama
loosely.
proud.
Say professor rather loosely on campuses. They even calling me a professor.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm on campus teaching or something, it's like, I didn't earn that. But
Thank
you did.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We're going into conversation with Rashawn Carrier Williams, who is the executive director of Boys Town, Louisiana. And this is a month that we want to pay attention to because this is one of those things that we don't want to see happen. We don't want to see happen, but we have to do things to help prevent because this is National Bullying Prevention Month. So good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous. Welcome back to WBOK. You've been here a few times before.
I have.
And tell the folks who missed it the last time a little bit about you and your background. Who your mama in that?
That's a New Orleans question. Rashawn Carrier Williams, heavy on the Carrier, born and raised here in New Orleans, Louisiana. My mom is Yolanda Riddle, and my dad is the late LaSalle Carrier. I have been working at Boys Town for over 20 years. And so in this role, I've been fortunate to oversee our program since 2004, where we started as a residential program in the community and serving about 30 kids in our residential programs. Over the years, I've been fortunate to be a part of growth, where we're just last year, we served almost 1,000 kids.
Wow.
Just in
nice.
1 year. Yes.
Very good.
And tell our listeners what brings a child into the care of Boys Town.
It could be various reasons. We just tend to meet kids kind of where they are. Like I said, with our residential programs, we serve kids who aren't able to be served at home, be it they're in state's custody or they're having some kind of trouble at home, getting into trouble, and someone says, this isn't the best place for you right now. And we believe kids should be at home. We believe the best place is to be with mom, dad, auntie, uncle. But if that's not safe for them, if that's not the place where they could be then we want to create that home environment. And so these are kids that have been in the juvenile justice system. These are kids that have been in foster care, typically a lot of times bouncing from placement to placement. And so we want to create an environment. If you were to drive down, City Park Avenue or Magazine Street, you wouldn't even know that there is a group home. And that's on purpose.
Yes.
And then we hire married couples to live there and take care of them. And we serve girls and boys. I want to kind of dispel that myth as well.
Boys Town with girls.
Yes, with
that's
girls.
right. Yeah,
Separately.
That's right. Yes. And speak to that. The model, the Boys Town model you mentioned, so married couples, and so how did that evolve? Where did that come from, and why is that effective?
So we have a 100-year history. We started in Omaha, Nebraska. If you were to go to Omaha, you would see a full town. With about 300 to 400 children. That same model with married couples, about 75 homes with a school, police station, fire department, post office, zip code, everything. It's a full town. However, we were fortunate to obtain that programming here in 1989. So in New Orleans, we started here, and we have sites across the country as well.
Great. So, this is National Bullying Prevention Month.
Yes.
And now, bullying ain't nothing new. I remember... it was third grade, I think, and a sixth grader kept trying to take my few coins for lunch money. Because back then in the Bronx, we could leave the campus, and go get pizza or, whatever and everything. So we had a few dollars on us. And eventually, though, I woke up one morning and I said, I'm going to tell my daddy about this. And my dad came to school and then the bullying stopped. But I know it's not that simple for a lot of kids.
Right.
And so talk to us about, bullying. And also this, I know that they're not new now, but the issue of cyberbullying, because now so many of our children are on social media and in the internet. And is that worse than in-person bullying so to tell our listeners, what do you think about those things?
So that's the thing. Bullying has evolved. It's changed. Back in the day, it was limited to the school ground. Now with the internet, with all, kids having devices, it's 24/7 access. And then even when you look at the statistics, it's staggering. 1 in 5 kids are bullied in school. but 1 in 6 kids are bullied through a cyberbullying type process. And so we want to be mindful as adults, as people working with kids, parents, and in the schools, that we need to look at our strategies related to bullying and realize that it could be 24/7. And then there's long-lasting effects. There's, really devastating effects that can happen with heavy social media use that kind of that increases the likelihood of depression, sadness, and cyberbullying, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I'm wondering if, with the cyberbullying, and you say 24/7, some parents, is their response just to take their kids off social media, and does that solve it, or is that kind of a naive way of thinking about this?
I mean, it goes much, much, much bigger, larger than that. I think parenting and being, the parents being aware of it is the first line of defense. But I think it takes all adults, definitely starting with the schools. I think schools have to recognize and have some accountability in keeping their kids safe. And so they should look at their code of conduct. They should look at some of their rules and regulations related to cyberbullying. They should have mechanisms for kids to report it easier. We recommend like a QR code or a form.
Wow,
And then also educating the kids, letting them know about, making sure that they're documenting the evidence, that they're screenshotting information, that they feel safe coming to teachers, and then also training school leaders, professionals, so that when those reports and claims are made, that they're trained to know how to deal with it.
Yeah. Is there a profile of a bully? And look, how can parents tell if their child is the bullier?
Exactly.
We talking about being
Right, yes.
Exactly.
not my baby, right? Your baby is,
I'm not sure if there's a true profile, but to your point, and working at Boys Town, like we work with all kids from both sides, right? We work with kids in our homes, and then we also do a lot of work in the community. So we are working with parents. So to your point, just being mindful, being vigilant, listening to your children, and we don't believe there's anything as a bad kid at Boys Town, but there are triggers. There are things that may make a kid more likely to bully or may be more likely to pick on other children. And that starts with us kind of listening, talking, and being aware as parents.
Yeah. And I think, silence is the enemy.
Yes.
And parents having enough of a relationship with their children where children feel safe to let them know what's going on before it goes on. Like I said, I woke up, it probably went a few weeks for me. And then I woke up, I was like, wait a minute, why am I taking this? I can't, I ain't gonna go and fight him myself. He's, third grade to sixth grade is a big difference in terms of,
absolutely.
But I was like, no, I said, I got somebody to help me with this, but, if I didn't feel comfortable. So, having those open lines of communication between children and parents or some other adult who is responsible, is so important. And so I think that's the one message to parents. But I know another message to other students is, the whole bystander piece. Talk about the power of the bystander.
Absolutely. We teach our kids a lot of skills at Boys Town. We are a skill-based organization, and that can be translated to our parents. So when we're working with parents, we also want to teach them skills to teach their kids. So standing up for someone else, recognizing it, not be silent, right? A lot of times kids may shrink or they may feel like they don't have a voice, but you want to be able to empower kids to step up, to tell you as a parent, tell another adult, and not just kind of sit by silently and allow that to happen. But you said it was key, that relationship building piece. You had an adult, you had a trusted adult that you can talk to. So that's why we feel like the parent, the caregiver, that aunt, that uncle, if you have a special relationship with that child, foster that so that they feel comfortable communicating some of those concerns.
Yeah. And then the whole piece of the bystanders too, in terms of other children, I know because the bullier, I know, they like the attention of other people who will either laugh or, make them feel special because they're exerting this power over this other child. But if others are like, nah, bro, so, that ain't cool. We don't like that, and kind of leave it there. They don't, then that, changing that peer dynamic is so important. And so also, like I said, empowering other students, and what's that word? Empathy.
Yes.
How would you feel?
How would you feel?
And everything. I think probably one of the reasons I became a social worker is because I was like, I want to stand up for people because I know what it felt like to, to not have somebody, you felt initially to stand up for you and everything. And so if we can really also empower other young people to be, that bystander and who will speak up and everything. But that takes courage too in some cases.
Absolutely.
And then the dynamic with cyberbullying, right? So there are witnesses or people that are reading these messages back and forth as well. So also encouraging that bystander digitally.
Right.
We also have what we call a digital backpack check. And that's similar to what you're talking about with having that conversation. But, being real specific and intentional with your questioning with your children, not kind of imposing. You want to make them feel comfortable, but saying, who are your friends online? Who are you talking to? What is the group chat looking like? What are people saying in that group chat? Don't shy away from asking those types of questions with your kids as well.
Yeah, you don't know who they're talking to.
Right.
And then you got people they're talking to, they don't even know who those people are.
Exactly.
It's
That's
like
right.
Chad told me. Well, who is Chad?
Yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah,
met Chad?
Yeah. When I first got back on Facebook, this was a long time ago now, but when my son and when you log on your first time, and then like it has these friends that people you could become friends, and I was like looking for people that I knew.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, and then my son said, "Nah, Dad, just accept them all." and I was like, "But I don't know these people." He was like, "That ain't the point,"
Yeah,
And
right.
so it's like,
Right.
then after you think these people are really your friends because they on your, but they're not your friends.
Right.
And so, but that was the mindset. I'm like, wow, you just accept everybody,
Right.
Right,
So
right,
yeah,
right.
And kids haven't learned that. They haven't learned that discretion of who's your friend, who's not your friend, and then particularly online, these are virtual strangers, like
Right.
really strangers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about aligning the in-person and online responses. That's something that you all have been encouraging.
With cyberbullying?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely, like I said, coming together as a team. You don't want the child to feel alone. And also as a parent, you're not alone. And when you're dealing with school-age children, the bullying may start in person, but a lot of times it ventures like online. And so, that's why we want to really encourage the school to train a team, have a response team, take it seriously, do not ignore it. And then as a parent, your responsibility also is continuing to advocate for your child, because that one meeting or that one interaction with the school professionals may not be enough. Having check-ins and ongoing meetings to ensure that this is, really moving in the right direction for your child.
I was blessed to have what I affectionately call a crazy mom, who thought
Not
that
crazy, passionate and concerned.
who somehow thought that my room was actually still her room, and so who felt the need that she could just come in my bedroom and look under stuff and look through stuff, and I'm like, Mom, what do you do? She was like, this is my room, and everything. Right. And now, of course, I appreciate that. It was like, wow. I didn't really like. I didn't like it, but I appreciate it. And I'm making that point to say that now, in terms of social media, we need, I won't say crazy, but we need parents who are kind of a little bit crazy like that.
Yeah.
Who say, no, I'm going to check that too, not just your bedroom and your drawers, but I'm going to check into that, what's going on and get into the chat too and see. And it may sound strange to some, but just because they're in their teen years doesn't mean the impact. It means they need more observation, more not say investigation, but you need to be involved more in their lives. I know, when my sons were in high school, and I was like, where you going? He was like, well, I'm going out with my friends. I was like, nah, why don't you invite all your friends over here tonight? I'll get pizza, and because I want to meet them. I don't want to just go out to the unknown. No, I want to see who they are. I want to influence them maybe. And so it's that kind of active parenting, I think, that to talk to that in terms of, that aspect in terms of helping echo, all of that is prevention too.
Absolutely. I'm a mom myself. They may call me the
you're
crazy
crazy
mom
mom,
too, so I don't know. So I definitely understand that. Compassionate, involved, all of that. And similarly, like my kids are, they're in high school, they're freshmen. I can't believe they're freshmen. I have twins. By the way.
Okay, wow.
And so I get the best of both worlds, a girl and a boy. But similarly, like I want to get to know their friends. They both wanted to venture into social media, so I allowed them to, because I want to teach them. I'm not the type of parent that want to be naive and just kind of say no social media, because kids sneak. I work with kids. I work with kids in all aspects, not just I have my own choice.
Yes.
So I know. So I want them to do it in a safe way. So there are apps. When they first started, using social media, there is a teen app in Instagram. And so I can kind of see who they're seeing, see who they're following, similarly with the other social media apps. And at the same time, we talk about it, right? We talk about what safe internet, and social media etiquette is. And then at the same time, I want to friend their friend. Their friends are friend to me, so I friend them right back. Similarly, not that I'm getting into their business or whatever, but I just want to make sure that things are safe. And I want to be able to guide them along the way. So to your point, opening up that line of communication, talking about the social media, meeting their friends. My son wanted to go to the mall this weekend. Okay, I'm going to walk you to the food court. I'm going to meet your friends there, and I'll give you a little bit of freedom. So parenting is that. And that's what we kind of teach our parents in a lot of our programs. It's, having that check, being vigilant, because kids need that structure. They need that support, but also giving them a chance to kind of utilize the skills that you taught them, and then come back together afterwards.
I didn't know this until recently, but apparently my wife, when my son was in high school and his friends would come pick him up in a car, she would check their IDs.
That's a good one.
And I didn't learn about that. I was like, my son was now, almost 30, and he was like, yeah, my friends tripped out when you would check their IDs. I was like, you did what? And she was like, yeah, I wanted to know who they going with. I was like, wow. I wouldn't have gone that far, but, I was wanting to know, I would have asked them their name, but she was checking IDs. So, but these days and times almost, I think, calls for that type of vigilance. And what was interesting, though, is that he said his friends respected that.
Yes.
And it was like, wow, you would have thought, they would have shunned him or, bullied him. Your mama crazy. No. They were like, wow, your mom is on it. Right. And so that's, I want to put that message out, parents, it's okay to be assertive. Right. Other kids will respect it. And if they don't respect it, then, that's cool too.
And let me tell you, being a parent has taught me a lot, but also working at Boys Town. And like I told you, we have 3 group homes in the community, and these are kids that have not been dealt the best hand in life. And so as a result, they have learned to get their needs met all kinds of ways. Not necessarily in pro-social ways, but they're getting their needs met. And so when they come into our program, we are pretty strict. There's a lot of structure. They have to check in. They can't just, walk around the house or walk outside. They have a lot of structure. They have a lot of rules. They have what's called a point card. They earn positive points for positive behaviors and they lose points. Not to say that I'm doing that at home, but that structure, the kids appreciate and they thrive. Yes. Our kids do excellence when they're in our program. We have kids who are 2 and 3 years behind in school, failing, and they end up straight A students and graduating, going on to college. And in the end, they thank us for that.
Yeah, that's great.
Structure is love.
Structure
is love.
All right,
I know we got to go to break, but I want to get this in. You got some key points that you recommend for educators. What are those key points?
Yes. So definitely I want to put Boys Town's hotline out there. We have a 1-800 number, so I want people to share this 24/7. For when you're in crisis, when you know somebody in crisis, whether it's bullying, whether it's depression, suicide, they can call 24/7. It's 1-800-448-3000. Or they can text VOICE to 20121. That's for young people. That's for parents. That's for aunties, uncles, everyone.
0121?
Yes. Text VOICE.
21. VOICE.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you so much. We've been in conversation with Rashawn Carrier Williams, Executive Director of Boys Town, Louisiana. Great work that you all are doing over there. And thanks for sharing these tips and information for parents and school leaders. It is National Bullying Prevention Month, and we want to prevent bullying, whether it's in your household or another household. We want to recognize it. We want to stay on top of it. We want to be good parents and grandparents.
Yes.
Because grandparents can get on social media and have these conversations too.
As well.
So thank you so much for joining us here at the Good Morning Show. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Few leftover showers throughout our Monday. As we go throughout the afternoon, though, those chances will start to go down. Temperatures expected to be back above average. Highs into the mid to upper 80s once again as we head throughout the rest of the week, though. Rain chances going down. Temperatures continuing to stay into the upper 80s, possibly some low 90s, but better filling air by the weekend. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
What's the future for New Orleans? Will city services ever function efficiently? Our people need answers, not slogans. That's why the Nonpartisan City Services Coalition has asked the candidates for mayor how they plan to fix city government. Want to know what they said? Go to cityservicescoalition.com to see for yourself. It's time for action, not excuses. The next step is yours.
Paid for by the City Services
The
Coalition.
New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. If you were listening to us before right now, you missed a good conversation with Rashawn Carrier-Williams, the executive director of Boys Town, Louisiana. She was here to talk about National Bullying Prevention Month, and it's a month where we're paying attention, more attention than normal, to what's going on with bullying. Yes. Our kids have a whole different environment these days.
Yes.
With how they're growing up, how they're being schooled, and that social media thing. So bullying is no longer on the campus or in the playground or in the classroom. It's online.
Online, that's
well.
right.
So
when you and I were kids, they had to call us up or come to our house.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yep. So so that was some good information. And, And don't forget that she gave the phone number if you want to call for any reason related to bullying or just dealing with kids generally. And their number is 800-448-3000, 800-448-3000. So there's an election coming up on Saturday.
Go vote. If you didn't early vote, Saturday is your day.
Yeah.
Is the day.
Saturday is election day. So if you voted during early voting, you cannot go back and vote again. We don't want to have to mention your name on air because of one of the folks trying to double vote or triple vote.
That's right.
But if you have not voted and if you are registered to vote, you can still vote on Election Day.
Yes.
There is another way you can vote. And people forget about this. You can vote by mail.
Yep.
You can still get a mail ballot and fill it out and complete it as long as you get it back by October 10th. So you have to be eligible for that. So there's certain categories. Mm-hmm. But that's another way. But the big day is Election Day. But
and early voting has concluded.
Early voting has concluded. And, man, what an early voting period we have had. So I hope you're listening up. You might even want to grab a pencil or a pen because the grand total for early voting, that was from September 27th through October 4th. In-person voting, we had 33,962 people.
Was that, that is
33,000.
33, yeah.
33, I'm sorry, 33,962 people in person and 4,699 people absentee. So
now
let's
just tell people that's more than double.
Well, yeah, so that's a grand total of 38,661 in early voting. And those are direct from our city clerk, Darren Lombard. So these are official numbers, and very appreciative of him with providing the updated info, because we have some different numbers floating out there each day of early voting and through the weekend. But these are the official numbers. But you were about to say that number is so huge that...
Yes, that it's more than double of the 2021, I believe, election, early voting numbers. And, we should say, because so many times we're saying, people didn't come out, people didn't come out. Of course, it's not election day yet, but kudos and commendations to everyone, especially the Black community, because your numbers, according to this early voting data, show that you have turned out in a great way in this early voting period, and that, in fact, Black votes exceeded percentage-wise the white vote. And so the question is, what does that portend? Foretell
Absolutely.
For election day.
Yeah.
And usually they said there's a trend where the early election is kind of that canary in the mine that shows us maybe what the interest is, and so that on election day there'll be a great turnout from everybody, and especially within the Black community.
Yep. So there are some more details about that. So in the early voting, we had 22,076 Black folks go out to vote in early voting, and we had 14,553 white folks vote in early voting, and we had 2,232 non-Black, non-white, identifying otherwise people who voted. And those are some really good numbers across the board, but particularly for Black folks coming out to vote, because so often we don't have enough Black folks registered to vote, and then we don't have enough Black folks who are registered to vote to come out and vote.
That's right.
And you never know what's going to happen, so that's one of the reasons I early vote. And I know some of you all like to wait until election day. You like the idea of going out on election day.
But so it's a civic, it's a day. It's like, going to the second line.
Right. And so I get that. So let's look at some party breakdown so that you have some context there. Of course, New Orleans Parish is a heavily Democratic city, but it does make a difference who actually shows up to vote. So among Democrats who voted in early voting, there were 28,578 people voting. And among Republicans, there were 33,675 Republicans who voted early. And there were non-Democrats, non-Republicans, other parties, or no party people who voted. That was 6,408. Again, that's according to our clerk, Darren Lombard, with some official numbers coming in this morning. We also have a gender breakdown to tell a little bit about what that might look like. So there were 14,996 men who voted. Okay, let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, 14,000.
14,900.
15,000.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just call it 15.
Yeah.
How many women you think voted?
32.
All right. 23,621. All right. So a lot of women. A lot more women.
That's right.
out to vote. And so to give you a bit of a comparison, we're going to look at some other elections. So not direct comparisons with this type of election, but give you some context. But we're going to do that
Yeah,
after the break.
Yes.
After the break.
And
So
we're
we're
going
going to.
talk about an article, the column that you wrote that talks
Yeah,
about
we
then
can
the,
talk about
this
that.
undecided.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about that too. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about
All day
long.
WBOK New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Civil rights icon Jesse Jackson was hospitalized over the weekend with a lung infection. His son Yusef shared the news during his 84th birthday celebration hosted by the Rainbow Push Coalition.
We brought him into the Northwestern Hospital for observation. They determined that he had a lung infection. They treated that lung infection, and his lung infection has cleared.
Jackson missed the event but is expected to recover soon. 2 people are dead and 14 others injured after rival groups opened fire in a crowded area of downtown Montgomery, Alabama, Saturday night. Police say the victims include teens and adults. No arrests yet, but multiple people are being questioned. And Columbus, Ohio is mourning trailblazing journalist Ann B. Walker, who passed away at 101. She was the first Black woman to cover City Hall and the first woman in broadcast management in city history. Her legacy was honored at a weekend celebration. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
New Schools for New Orleans is excited to announce that our Katrina 20 exhibit, After the Storm, 20 Years of Change and Progress in New Orleans Public Education, is now open to the public. You can experience this powerful look at how our schools have transformed since Katrina at the New Orleans Public School Library's main branch, 219 Loyola Avenue, during regular business hours, now through December. Bring your friends, family members, students, and colleagues. Looking for a group visit for your school or organization? Email us at info@nsno.org.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. You are hearing our voices this morning. We would love to hear yours. Your talk line number is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. I am Will Sutton, and with me is Professor Torrin Sanders of Southern University, New Orleans. One of his several titles.
And the Sixth Baptist Church.
Yeah,
Pastor of the Sixth
absolutely.
Baptist Church. 928 Felicity Street. Come
All
on,
right.
see
What
us.
time is service?
9 a.m.
All
every
right.
Sunday morning. We had a great service yesterday, too.
Yeah.
I talked about a reminder to remember.
All
got,
right.
Got to remember certain things about God, you know.
Ooh.
I ain't going to preach this morning.
All right. Maybe we'll get a couple of nuggets from
That's
there,
right, yes.
before 9.
Yes.
So, well,
Yeah.
welcome back to the second hour of the Good Morning Show. We are talking about the election generally, but particularly early voting. And I wonder what your experiences were with early voting. Did any of you go out and vote on the first day of early voting on September 27th? How many of you all went out to City Hall? Did you have trouble parking, or did you take advantage of the free parking over there? And how about those who went to the Lake Vista Community Center or the Algiers Courthouse, or maybe the voting machine warehouse, which
Chef Highway.
I heard that was quite busy on the first day of early voting. But I wonder what your personal experiences were like. The phone number is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. So let's dig back into the data a little bit and tell you a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want to do that. 'Cause I mean, I want to let the readers know that they need to go to your article, your column.
Absolutely.
NOLA.com.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Tell why.
well, you made an interesting, point that, some of us have been thinking about, but nobody actually said out loud, so to speak, until you said it. But polls are great. I mean, they have their pluses and minuses. But what I noticed and what you've noticed in these polls is of course they all have this margin of error, which we need to look at. And even though they may have put one person ahead or another person behind, whatever, in virtually all of the polls, there was this, and I don't know if it's common or not common in a lot of the elections, but a substantial portion of people who said they were undecided.
Undecided, absolutely.
And we act like that doesn't count in the poll. We just look at but undecideds, if they're still going to vote and they're just undecided, in most cases, as you mentioned, the undecided could sway those numbers in either direction. And everything. And so, I mean, you made a wonderful point, and you looked at, different races. And yeah, so, what will make the difference in terms of helping people to decide? And then what will be the end result? And of course, we only will know that on election night. But I think the message is go out and vote. And don't be so swayed by the polls necessarily.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But to make up your own mind and don't think that the race is over just because some pollster said so.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
That's right. Absolutely. And there have been a number of, I'll call them public surveys, public polls that have been shared in recent weeks and months. And the one that I used to base my column on that ran in the Sunday paper, and it is online at NOLA.com. The headline is, the New Orleans election is not over. These voters will likely decide who wins. It's written that way because though there are front runners in these various races, and in some cases by double digits, I was doing some digging down into the polls, the methodology and the margin of error, and looking at some of the other facts that don't make the headlines. But very easily, stories might have been written to say, in this race, there's this percent undecided. So let me just give you the context from the column about the mayoral race. So, of course, we know Helena Moreno, our sitting city council vice president, is by far leading in each of these polls. There's no poll where she's behind, and not just ahead, but ahead by quite a bit. The UNO poll had her at 49%, with Royce Duplessis, State Senator Royce Duplessis, at 15%. And City Council District E member Oliver Thomas at 13%. But when you look at the support of black voters for those three candidates, Moreno has 28%, Duplessis has 24%, and Thomas has 21%. So that's 28, 24, 21. That's 73. So that means there's more than a quarter of the black voters who were surveyed in this poll who said, I don't know. I don't know. I am registered to vote, and I don't know. Well, that can swing in somebody's favor. That 25% or a good portion of it could put Moreno over the top to win outright. But it also could push Duplessis or Thomas into a runoff with Helena Moreno. So that's an important sliver.
And runoff races are usually very different from primary races in terms of just the dynamics. It's one thing to have 5. Well, of course, in the mayor's race, we actually have maybe 8 people out there running,
11.
or more, 11. Okay,
yeah.
And of course, we know there's the 3, top runners, so to speak. But just the dynamics of a one-on-one is a different animal. In any race you look at. And so it would be interesting to see, should that happen, how that race would then look.
And even with the white vote in that particular poll, the focus was on the 76% of white voters who were polled saying that they would favor Moreno at that point.
Yes.
But that still left 14% of white voters who said, I don't know. I don't know. So those voters could go whichever way they want, and that also could sway the race. And then the entire poll has a margin of error of not, like we often hear, 2.8, 3%, 3.5. This margin of error is 4.8%.
Close to
Okay.
5%.
So let's call that 5.
That's right.
And you take that off of 49, all of a sudden that's 44. Let's add that to a number of for Duplessis or for Thomas, and all of a sudden those numbers go up to 20% or 18%. So, I mean, there are a number of things that could happen based on the undecided. And in the sheriff's race, of course, we've seen former police chief Michelle Woodfolk leading all along the way. And there are several candidates, but the two other primary candidates are the incumbent Susan Hudson, who wants to keep her job, and Constable Ed Shorty, who would like to have Hudson's job. 43% in that poll said they would favor Michelle Woodfolk to become the next sheriff. Well, that's not quite 50%.
That's not 50%, yeah.
That's not 50%. So Michelle Woodfolk, based on this one poll, would need another 7% plus 1 to get in and win it right off. But when I looked at that part of the poll, 33% said, I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So if 33% were to vote for Susan Hudson, she's at least in a runoff.
That's right.
And maybe that splits in 2 or 3 ways. But that large number of people saying, I don't know, that's kind of an important figure to me.
Which all of which makes this week a very, very important week. And, of course, campaign managers know this. Some campaigns wait until this week or even Wednesday before they drop whatever quote-unquote bombshells they may have in terms of what they think, they need to say about themselves or about other candidates on the negative side. Hopefully not too negative. I don't personally like negative campaigning.
Right.
A lot of people don't, but some people still swear by it that, hey, it's not negative, it's just the truth and kind of thing.
Right.
But so we
and
can
sometimes
expect.
it's not the truth. But anyway.
sometimes there's big lies.
And it's like, oops. It's too late.
Yes. And so be on the lookout. And just as the electorate, just be mindful, be wary, look at everything carefully, and not just don't because it's written on paper mean that it's the truth. So be critical still, especially this week, if you have not made up your mind.
Right. And I also looked at the 2 city council at large races. The city council at large District 1 race has multiple candidates, but the 2 prime candidates are State Rep Matthew Willard and State Rep Delisha Boyd. And Willard, in this one poll, Snapshot in Time, poll, had Willard at 32% and had Delisha Boyd at 18%. But a couple of interesting factoids about that race. That seems like a large lead. It is. It seems like a clear front runner. It is. But when you look at the black vote of those who were polled, 30% of black voters said, I don't know.
No.
Well, 30% added to 18 puts Delisha Boyd in pretty good shape. Then you look at the number of white voters who were polled looking at that race, and it is a whopping 60%.
Wow.
60% saying, I don't know, at this point in the race?
Yeah.
I mean, this poll was taken in late September, but come on. I mean, this has been going on for a while. And some people are either they've been tuning in and still not sure, or they're just tuning in and therefore they're not sure. In that other race for at-large District 2, the incumbent city council president, J.P. Morrell, running away with 45% in that poll, still not 50%. And Gregory Manning of Broadmoor Church, pastor over there, had 10%. That seemed like a low number. But with 32% of the black voters saying, I don't know, and with 47% of white voters in that who were polled saying, I don't know, those are some big numbers.
Yeah. And that's what, again, having, been a part of a campaign and run for office myself, that's what, campaign, that's where the money is so important because, campaign managers know that many times, maybe not to this extent, but that they're still just undecided vote. And so they want money for this last week so that they can really, flood people either with mail or radio or TV ads to assist them in making up their minds at this time. And so that's why you're going to see and hear a lot. I love democracy. I love elections, even though I'm a little tired now of some of the stuff. But it's good to know that we still live in a country where where our vote matters, and especially when we talk about on a national scale, which we're not talking about today. But our vote matters. And so we got to go out and vote. And I don't know how people will make up their minds, but I hope they do, and that they go to the poll, and that they don't stay home, because staying home is also a vote, so to speak. And so not voting is a vote by your inaction. And so let's go on record, make your voice heard. And, because when there's more of us as a people, and I'm not talking about just black folks, but all of us on record, then those who represent us know that we're serious, know that we're interested, and then know once they get elected that somebody is still watching, that somebody is there holding them accountable. And that's needed, because once people get into office, there's so many levers pulling on them. There's so many voices in their ear that every constituency needs to make sure that they are a part of that process and not, on the outskirts. And so, and politicians, unfortunately, they go back and look and see who voted for me. What part of the city was this, and what it wasn't. And they look at those numbers.
Yeah, you better believe that after early voting closed, they were digging.
That's right.
To see where those numbers came in.
That's right. And so they looked and they said, okay, now where do we need to go a little bit more? Where do we, need to, who do we need to talk to a little bit more? And so this is data now that they have for this week, especially, to go out and look, to the extent that early vote data does give them an understanding of where things are laying at.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things about having money.
Yep.
Because if you have enough money, you can do your own daily polling.
That's right. That's
and
right.
you can do your own subject-specific polling.
That's right.
And you can do neighborhood and precinct, or maybe ward polling.
Yeah. Well, or just canvassing, just getting people,
absolutely,
get people out and talking to people, knocking on doors in Ward X and Precinct Y. As opposed to where you've already gotten a large percentage of the vote in that area. So that's where they're strategically making those decisions, even as we speak, I'm sure. Or they probably spoke about it on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they got together and they made some decisions. So exciting time, and and we'll see. Some races may be over, but other races, again, we'll go on, and we'll be at it until November.
Yep. Well, the races are not over. If you did not get a chance to vote, you are registered to vote. You can certainly still plan to vote on Saturday, Election Day, October 11th. So make sure that you make a plan so you can follow your plan and get out there and add your numbers to this historic early voting.
Yes.
It'd be wonderful to see a historic Election Day turnout,
yes,
and then in a historic voter turnout overall.
We're overdue for that. I used to joke, before saying, we need Obama to run for everything.
Right. Right.
Get the people out. But we got to do it more than just when Obama's name is on the ballot. We got to do it and these local races means so much. They will more affect our lives in many cases more than what happens at the federal level. And so very, very important for us to look at that. Pop Jones, I don't know if we were just talked about the National Guard, but I don't know, over the weekend there was also news about ICE in Chicago.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was so saddened, and sometimes you say, well, is this for real? I was looking on Facebook, but apparently it was or is, where they zip-tied children.
Yes.
If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me, but I saw a picture, and I was like, this can't be right. This can't be for real. That, babies almost, that they were, 1, 2-year-old, 3-year-olds, and zip-tying them, their hands. And there's still that, the issue amongst some apparently of black folks, especially in terms of, well, that's their problem. But, my concern is if we allow lawlessness by those who claim to be enforcing the law, if we allow a level of lawlessness to occur with a group, then when is it going to turn around and be our turn? If anybody can jump out of a car with a mask on and put somebody in a van with no identification, then are we giving the signal that that's okay for anybody? And so we have to be very careful and prayerful during this season that there are boundaries placed around what's happening and what's going on. And even I have come to know some people. I've had association with some people who, are worried about deportation and what have you. And so we have to really just, many people have come to this country just looking for a better life. Not all immigrants, and most immigrants ain't criminals. They're looking for a good life. And it's what's so interesting that, in this country, which is a nation of many immigrants, not just immigrants, because we know I didn't come here as an immigrant, my people, but that this meanness that we are encountering now is at this level. But we're not surprised at the meanness, but we need to fight against it as a community. So pay attention to those things that's going on in terms of places like Chicago, because New Orleans could be next. As well as other places in the urban environment could be next.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to go to break, and we're going to add some more news and information that you want to know, should know, might want to know. But we're also going to give you some more information about the election and campaign, because there are still opportunities to vote. We mentioned that early voting is over, and we have historic numbers, and we have the election day on Saturday, October 11th. But as we have said a couple of times before, there's another option that people need to be aware of, and that is mail ballot. So we've talked about that before. Want to remind you about that again, because there are some important details that you might have missed, and you can share that with the folks in your neighborhood and your household. But we're going to break right now. Stay tuned for that. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
I'm David Patan Sr., owner of Whole Water and Food Over Medicine Academy, coach, consultant, and instructor. We're excited about our 21-day challenge. Stop, prevent, and reverse disease today. Cholesterol, diabetes type 2, high blood pressure, along with chronic illnesses and diseases. We believe that the gift of wellness is the greatest gift, and for $30 per month, $1 a day, you could have this gift for you and your family.
I'm Phyllis Washington, and I've benefited with health and weight loss.
For your gift of $30, healing and wellness can be yours. Call 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. The Whole Water Store. See you at 2135 Washington Avenue today.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. New Orleans police are investigating a shooting on Francis Drive that injured a man. Investigators say he was shot in the leg around 6:30 last night and taken to a local hospital. Right now, there is no word on his condition or if a suspect has been identified. If you know anything about this case, call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111. Then we have learned a crash on the Causeway on Friday was fatal. According to Causeway Police, a 60-year-old man in the passenger seat of an SUV that was rear-ended has died. Investigators say his heart stopped during the collision. We're told CPR was given on the bridge and that man was taken to a hospital where he later died. And finally, some good news. Victory at last. The Saints are waking up winners, securing their first win of the season yesterday afternoon against the New York Giants. The Black and Gold dominated the second half inside the Dome, ending the game with 5 takeaways. Sunday's final 26-14. Next up for the Saints, they host the New England Patriots at home. They will then travel to Chicago to play the Bears and then return home to play their NFC South foe, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
What's the future for New Orleans? Will city services ever function efficiently? Our people need answers, not slogans. That's why the Nonpartisan City Services Coalition has asked the candidates for mayor how they plan to fix city government. Want to know what they said? Go to cityservicescoalition.com to see for yourself. It's time for action, not excuses. The next step is yours.
Paid for by the City Services Coalition.
Fresh produce, local flavor, and a healthy you. New Orleans East Hospital is hosting a farmers market the last Wednesday of every month from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join us in the parking lot across from the main entrance. Support local farmers and your wellness. We'll see you there.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. This is WBOK 1230 AM. It is 8:27 a.m. You've got to be somewhere at 8:30. Boy, I hope it's on the other side of your bed. And I hope your slippers are ready, your coffee is warm, or your tea. I hope you have your phone in your hand, your laptop fired up so you can say, yes, boss, I'm here and working. But if you got somewhere to be by 8:45, you got a little bit of time. And in New Orleans, we like to say you can get anywhere in 15, 20 minutes. Well, you can't if you haven't showered and dressed yet.
That's right. That's right.
So I hope you are moving along. Look, we got this election on Saturday, October 11th. Historic early voting numbers. Wonderful, wonderful. Great job for all of you all who participated by voting early. Now, let's do it again and have a historic turnout on Election Day. But there is another way that you can vote. And the window is narrow, folks. The window is narrow. And that is absentee. So the deadline to request an absentee ballot is tomorrow, October 7th by 4:30 p.m. Tomorrow by 4:30 p.m. You have to make that request. And the deadline for the registrar to receive your voted absentee ballot, and if you get one, you'll see that there's multiple envelopes, and you have to fill it out correctly, otherwise it won't count. But it must be received by 4:30 p.m. on Friday, October 10th. Friday, October 10th is the deadline to receive. That is not the deadline to request the ballot. You can't say, I'm here, it's Friday, I want my ballot because I'm not going to be around tomorrow. You can't do that. You have to request that today or no later than tomorrow by 4:30 p.m. You can make this request online, or you can contact the Register of Voters office. So the Register of Voters office for Orleans Parish is inside City Hall. That's at 1300 Perdido Street, and that is room number 1W as in Will, W as in Will, 24. 1W24. If you want to try to call somebody, I'd suggest getting on the line and calling right away. That number is 504-658-8300, 504-658-8300. Yes, Election Day is Saturday, all day for those who are registered to vote, but there is another way, and you can request that mail ballot. So make sure that whether it's for you, yours, a loved one, a friend, that piece of business is getting taken care of. I suggest today rather than on deadline day, which is tomorrow, because the voted ballot has to be returned, has to be received by the registrar on Friday, no later than 4:30 p.m. You bring it in at 4:32, not going to count. You bring it in and you're trying to fill it out there, you're going to be pushing it, and it may not count. You fill it out at home or wherever your favorite coffee spot is, or at your friend's house. Just make sure you do it correctly, because it will not count, and you will not get another one if you don't do it correctly the first time. All right? We got a caller.
All right.
Reverend Calhoun, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I just got a couple quick questions.
Sure.
Did not we put children during this administration once before in locked cells and lock them up?
Yes,
like
yes, they did.
Did not at some point they was separated from their parents and all of that? Kind of like what happened when we came here, when we were brought here, because we didn't try to immigrate. We was brought here, but the children had no value. The only value they had is what they could get on the market for them. What has changed? What's really going on in this country now that we gotta feel like we're not safe here anymore, based on the color of your skin? Because you don't know who's who just by looking at them, but it seems like this has been designed to attack certain skin color people. The other thing I have is one other question. Didn't I call the win this weekend too? But anyway, I'm just looking at where we are really going in this country now. Because if we look at for what's really going on, this man is destroying government. I'm going to ask you, what do you call a person that goes set a fire and then wants to come put it out so he could be the hero? So it seems like that's what's going on with your leadership.
Well, in a lot of places, that would be called an arsonist. And that would just be one name.
Yes.
But there would be others. But that certainly would be called someone like that.
If I go create a condition and create a situation where I got to come in and rescue the people to say that there was a serious situation here, but I'm the one who created the situation.
Right.
And there's something wrong here, and I don't know what it's going to take for us to really understand what's really going down on us. This is crazy.
It is indeed.
You got some people that don't mean you no good, period.
Well, and Reverend Calhoun, I was watching football this weekend, especially college football, and they had tons of commercials for ICE recruitment.
Yes.
$50,000 signing bonus in addition to your salary, and student loan forgiveness. Now, and this is from same people who were fighting against student loan forgiveness during the Biden administration, but now are offering it for presumably young men, primarily, I guess, who to join ICE, along with a $50,000 signing bonus that I don't believe I've ever heard of in the public sector. Teachers don't get those kind of signing bonuses. Firemen or cops generally, don't get those kind of signing bonus. So the effort is definitely being made there, and the money is being put there for a reason.
So to what end, though, Sharon? To what end is this actually going?
Oh, we see it.
Now we're going to be able. Will we be able now to have somebody sit in an office and say, "Oh, there's trouble down here. That I perceive trouble, so I'm going to send the troops in." We had a meeting down here a couple of weeks ago with the port, and they had so many harbor police down here till it was. I just had to ask, did somebody call Trump and ask him to send the troops in, or what happened?
Yeah.
But we are at a stage now that I think that we're going to be under military rule very shortly. That the military will be the president will be able to sit back and say, "Oh, there's trouble there. Let's send the troops in." Yeah.
Well, Reverend, only thing I would say, I saw the video of the meeting last week with all of the generals, and someone on Facebook, and it is accurate, and I remember it, that there were no chairs, there were no clapping or very little clapping, even though I think the president was trying to prompt them to do some of that. And of course, then people online were saying, "Oh, well, they're not supposed to clap or show any emotion." But then there was a video of President Obama in meeting with the military, and they were clapping and cheering and hollering and in an affirmative way. So apparently they can, especially when they're allowed to, when they break attention and they're allowed to be themselves. And so I'm saying all that to say that I think, and of course this would be tragic for our country, but I think the military was telling us, these leadership was saying, we know where our loyalty is supposed to be, and it's to the Constitution. And an unlawful order ain't an order. I'm sorry to say it like that.
Right.
So it would be tragic to get to that point. But their demeanor suggested to me that they are not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that, and that's the thing that bothers me most. Those people that's following this leadership, that's not understanding what's really, I don't say not understanding it, because they got to understand where this is leading to. This is Hitler's playbook to the hilt. Everything that's happening now happened in Germany. He was elected, Hitler, under a democracy. He changed it. He weaponized his military. He weaponized those around him to attack people. Look at the same thing that's happened here. There's no unity here. There's always division, even amongst those that's supposed to be unified. But I think, gentlemen, that I think if people don't sit down and have a real understanding about what's going on around us, if all the power comes back to the state, we've been through that. In the 1940s, the Jim Crow's laws was done by state. Mm-hmm. We had no voice. So to have some young folks or some people believe that everything is going to be okay, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Tara?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Look, my only hope. God. I didn't hear you.
So, I was just saying, I trust in God, and I know He always have it in hand and in control.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying that there's something definitely wrong.
Yeah.
With the way this country now is being ran.
Yeah.
You're sending too many people to create your own law. You got a convicted felon talking about law and order. Now, you tell me if that ain't crazy, I don't know what is. But we did make that contact at Carver, and anytime you're ready to go over there and speak to those students,
okay, great.
That's available to you.
Great. Thank you, Reverend.
All right, Doc.
All right, bye.
All right, we've got another caller.
Something about Carver winning. All right, bye.
All right, Reverend Calhoun, have a blessed day. All right, we got another call. Papa Baptiste, good morning.
Como se va to the gentleman at the station? God bless everybody. And look, I'm learning some more Creole words, so I'm gonna be sharing it with y'all.
Well, you've reached my limit already.
Merci. the Rev nailed it, because we have a new world order that's happening in the United States. The youngsters are going just the way the people that control the music plan, to take them out of the political thing, put them in this murder music, destroy your neighborhood music, the selfish music. I got my gold chains worth $1 million. I got this around my neck. I got that worth a house that could build a whole neighborhood. But look at my teeth. I got $1 million, from Johnny the jeweler. I got $500,000 in my mouth, where the neighborhood could be fed for a year. But I'm thinking of myself, look how good I look. So they have done this and made everybody to start. The internet is poison. It's absolutely poisoning our young children, because the young mothers right now, they take their iPad, iLap or something, give it to their 2-year-old child, 3-year-old child, could work it better than some 40-year-old people working the internet, these little kids, and the horrible stuff that they see. The young children, the young girls seeing absolutely. The parents got to watch their children and watch what they're letting them see. But hey, look, I'm going around to the store. I'm going to hang out with my girlfriends. Yeah, here, give him the iPad. He could watch this all night, or she could watch this all night. So they could use the same process, man, to try and get the young people to vote. If they push this in, push it in, they don't know what they're going to lose before, because you can't miss nothing you never had. So if you never rode in the back of the bus, you don't know what that's like. All of them know what it's like to be stopped by the police and be harassed and shot. But that's regular for young blacks that to happen. So they're accustomed to that. But riding in the back of the bus, you can't drink the same water. You can't eat in the same restaurant. If we don't get the young people to vote and realize what their future is, that is, this guy is doing what Vladimir Putin asked him to do: destroy American democracy through racism, through greed, through sex. Have the men thinking that they want to be women, have the women thinking they want to be men. Just, that's personal belief. I ain't got nothing against that. God say you can't judge nobody. I don't. But if it's pushed down on your children and you bring it into your young men's class at a very young age, or the young girls' class at a young age, and they're staring at these people going, should I be a boy? Should I be a girl? I don't know. My friend Billy and I could actually kiss Billy in the mouth. It looks cool. So you got horrible stuff that's happening for children, guys. So we need to get everybody to get out and vote. The main thing is to get the people to get out and vote, to try and remove some of these people, but as I said, the young people can't miss what they never had. So you're not going to get them interested because in stuff they never experienced it. They don't know what it's like.
And Pop, the only thing I would say is, I look at my sons and you're right. They don't know what it's like to a white water fountain, colored water fountain, and all of that. But then on the other side is that I pray that then that generation and younger, because they grew up in a world that was not perfect, but didn't have that outward segregation and oppression, that they would not accept going back to that or anything that resembled that. And so it still remains to be seen. But I believe that thankfully we've come too far for them to allow that to be pushed back. That's my prayer, my hope.
My prayer too, Will. I mean, we come too far. The song goes to turn around.
That's right.
Too far to turn.
That's right. We didn't come this far just to come this far. Thank you.
You guys be blessed, man. Keep the information going. Do all we can do. That's all. That's all God allow you to do. God has given everybody a mind. They could make the ones that can move their physical body. They can do things. That some of the unfortunate people that God has brought into the world that can't move, can't talk. I have a grandson that has cerebral palsy. He was expected to live to 2. He's 18 years old now, but he's never been able to say Grandpa. He's never been able to say, I love you, Grandpa, like I tell him I love him. Mm-hmm. That's why I support kids with special needs from the bottom of my heart.
Amen.
And all of that. So you guys be safe, be blessed, and just keep pushing until this weekend, because that brother that ran for governor, man, is putting out some very, very smart information. If you follow, I forgot the gentleman's name
Chambers.
who ran against.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he ran for U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
Gary Chambers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Poppy. I think we have another call.
We do.
All right.
Absolutely. Have a great day, man. All right, we got another call. We got Sean. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Look, not trying to come on here and contradict what this brother just said, man, which I respect greatly. But when he's looking at young kids, like he's talking about with the goals in their mouth, with the jewelry, and they thinking certain ways, he got to be mindful that these same young kids are looking at politicians with their suits on, their pretty words, their fancy dreams. Some ministers with the pretty words, the fancy dreams. And these kids are looking at some of them people and saying that's their game that they're playing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And not thinking about participating, because for years, we got to be honest, we see a lot of sellout politicians. We see a lot of sellout ministers, right? That's not in it for the right reasons, right? So what we have to do, instead of pretty much dividing and picking a side and saying who's right, we have to find out what's that common ground that we all can be a part of. You understand?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
That's the thing to me. You know, what's that common ground that, you know, we can all say, you know what, this is where we need to be. A new common ground. Because it's obvious you got distrust from elders, you got distrust from the younger generation, but nitpicking and saying who's right, I don't think that's going to bring that common ground. You know, so I mean, I think politics, you know, getting involved in it, yeah, that's cool. But honestly, we need more than that, because we had politics when we had, you know, just about slavery and every other horrible thing that the black folk can think of. Politics has been here.
Yeah.
And we went through the worst with it, you know. So I'm always looking for that common ground. I'm always looking for that next step we can take, even when this election is over. You know, how involved we are going to be, you know, no matter who wins. You know, how involved we still be in this thing. You know, like Obama used to always say, it's not about just winning or losing, you know. We got to stay involved. We got to, you know, keep up the fight, you know. And I think too many times, you know, the media and everything else, you know, talks about it as long as the campaign is going. But the minute it's over, it's like nobody's talking about it no more. Like it all goes away.
That's right.
You know, and I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Right.
You're right on it.
You're on
I mean,
point.
thank you for your comments. Thank you for your passion. I think you're right on it. We have to look to unite and for that common ground. Even though we all have, you know, these intergenerational pet peeves, you know, what young folks don't like about old folks, what old folks don't like about young folks. But when it comes to all of our survival, and not just surviving, but thriving, we got to look at how we can all work together. And you're right. It's not just about, I guess, electoral politics, but it's about constant civic and social engagement, you know. And back in the 60s, you know, yeah, it was SNCC, you know, Stokely Carmichael, it was the Black Panthers, you know, none of them ran for office, so to speak, but they did a lot to help change the dynamic of what was going on. And so that involvement is critical by our young people as well as everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Sean. We really appreciate your call. Thanks for calling the Good Morning Show. We got to go to break, and we'll be right back after that before we close the show. And welcome the Front Porch. This is WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Few leftover showers throughout our Monday. As we go throughout the afternoon, though, those chances will start to go down. Temperatures expected to be back above average. Highs into the mid to upper 80s once again as we head throughout the rest of the week, though. Rain chances going down. Temperatures continuing to stay into the upper 80s, possibly some low 90s, but better filling air by the weekend. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
Michelle Woodfork is New Orleans born and raised. She walked the same streets we do. She's a proud graduate of St. Mary's Academy and a career public servant who rose through the ranks to become chief of police. She earned a master's in criminal justice, reduced crime, rebuilt morale, and brought in new officers committed to serving this city. This isn't a stepping stone. It's home. She's from here. This is personal. She's lived the challenges. She's earned the trust. And when she puts on that uniform, it's not just a job, it's a promise to protect the city that raised her. She'll make sure the jail is safe and accountable, that people get the help they need, and that no one gets left behind. Michelle Woodfork knows what this city deserves because it's her city too. Michelle Woodfork, the right choice.
Paid for by Michelle.
condolences to the family. We hope this brings some sense of, I won't say closure, but some peace to them to realize that now that everybody can see that their son had nothing to do with this, but that moreover that those who committed this heinous act against him in terms of lies and falsehoods would be brought to justice themselves.
Wow, such a
Yeah.
bad situation, sad and bad.
Yes.
Situation, the type of thing that we definitely want to be aware of and watch with these developments. So unfortunate when somebody is unjustly loses their life.
Yes.
Because there is no, let's review the situation and bring him or bring her back.
That's
They
right.
are gone.
That's right.
And then you find out more and find out how bad it was.
That's
That
right.
it was worse than worse. I mean, it just.
Yeah, and I have an article here from USA Today, and it said he was 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact.
What?
Almost 100 yards on a football field away. Key word, behind the vehicles, but that is not how the story was ever painted. What we now know, I'm reading from the article, what we know now is he was 3 times legally what he needed to be back in his lane of traffic. And so they were not caused by the accident was not caused in any way. Mr. Lacey's vehicles did not, at no time did his vehicle strike the rear of Mr. Herman's vehicle, nor did any of the vehicles Mr. Lacey passed collide with his. So.
Wow. That's just.
So.
Heartbreaking and horrible.
Yes.
Heartbreaking and
So,
horrible. Oh, boy.
Hopefully the story will continue and Mr. Lacey's attorney will follow up all the way.
Right.
Well, but it's been a joy to be with you this morning.
Well, it has been a joy. I hope you're willing to come back and hope the Lord blesses you and me to be back
Yes.
tomorrow morning. What do you think?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. I like the sound of that. Well, before we let things go and get ready for the front porch one more time, let's talk about the election. October 11th, early voting is over. Historic early voting stats. The election hotline number is 800-883-2805. If you have any questions, call the Secretary of State's office, 800-883-2805. In particular, I want to bring your attention to the opportunity for mail ballots because the deadline to request one is 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. At this point, you can try it online, but it'd be a really good idea to call and visit. That phone number for the Registrar of Voters is 504-658-8300, 504-658-8300, and the address is City Hall, 1300 Perdido Street, room number 1W24. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to Pop Jones, Reverend Calhoun, and Papa Baptiste. On Facebook, we see you, Linda and Fern, Jacqueline, Michelle, Martin, Sean, Chuck, Kerwin, Tammy, Paul, Dr. Martinez. Oh, my goodness, I'm sure I missed 1, 2, or 3, or 4, but we see you, and we thank you for your engagement online. Hope you provided some good information that you can share with others so that we can increase that vote on Saturday election day. We'll be talking more about it tomorrow, Lord willing. Blessing us with another day, putting our feet on the floor. This is the Good Morning Show. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Have you heard the secret of what New Orleans is talking about? I promise everything will be okay if you're listening here on the airwaves. It's that WBOK 1230 AM.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm
Avery Wood with BIN News Now. A Hollywood strip mall is blasting classical music overnight to deter homeless people, but neighbors say it's keeping them up.
They'll start off low, and then, in the middle of the night, it'll go up for a little while.
Residents near Hollywood and Gower told KTLA the noise is unbearable. The landlord says it's the only way to reduce crime and loitering. A black woman from Louisville, Kentucky was arrested after causing over $1,000 in damage at Little Caesars when told extra sauce would be $1. Police say Brianna Haynes knocked over equipment and fled. The January incident was caught on video and she was arrested last month. And former NFL defensive lineman Arthur Jones has died at 39. The black Super Bowl champ with the Ravens passed away suddenly at his home in New York. He had a pre-existing heart condition and his defibrillator activated before emergency crews arrived. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
New Schools for New Orleans is excited to announce that our Katrina 20 exhibit, After the Storm, 20 Years of Change and Progress in New Orleans Public Education, is now open to the public. You can experience this powerful look at how our schools have transformed since Katrina at the New Orleans Public School Library's main branch, 219 Loyola Avenue, during regular business hours, now through December. Bring your friends, family members, students, and colleagues. Looking for a group visit for your school or organization? Email us at info@nsno.org.
You're on the front porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
At your table and make sure that you're